All right, so have you ever felt like you're just drowning in tasks, emails and reminders, and actually getting work done? It's like we're all juggling chainsaws these days.
Yeah.
But what if I told you there's a way to like offload some of that, some of that mental weight?
Oh, yeah.
That's where AI agents come in. And today we're diving into the world of building these digital helpers with a little help from building adaptive AI agents with N8N, a comprehensive guide. So this guide is really interesting because it's really practical.
Right.
And it shows us how to go beyond just basic automation. We're talking about AI that can analyze information and make choices and take action, all without us needing to micromanage every step.
Exactly.
It's like having a personal assistant that can not only fetch your coffee, but also figure out the best route to avoid traffic.
Yeah.
But hold on. Before we get ahead of ourselves, I think we need to unpack the difference between these AI agents and just the basic automations we're already used to.
Yeah, so think about those automatic email replies you get. They're helpful,
Yeah.
but they're limited to just like preset responses. An AI agent is more like having a skilled customer service rep who can handle a wide range of queries and understand the context and even adapt their responses, based on the situation.
So it's not just about following a script. It's about like understanding and responding intelligently. Okay, I'm starting to see the potential here. But how do we actually build one of these AI agents? Is it all like super technical, code-heavy stuff?
Well, that's where N8N comes in. This platform is like a visual toolkit for building AI agents. And it lets you connect different components without needing to be like a coding wizard.
Okay.
Imagine it as like a digital Lego set where you snap together different blocks to create complex workflows.
Ah, so instead of writing lines of code, we're visually connecting the pieces of our AI agent.
Yeah.
I can already feel my coding anxiety fading away.
Right.
But I'm curious, what kind of Lego blocks are we talking about here?
So in N8N, these blocks are called nodes.
Okay.
And they each represent a specific action or function.
Right.
You've got trigger nodes that kick things off, action nodes that perform tasks, utility nodes that manipulate data, and the most interesting one's the advanced AI agent nodes.
Okay.
These are like the brains of the operation, allowing
wow.
your agent to think and make decisions.
So it's like having a toolbox full of specialized gadgets, each designed for a specific job. But before we start assembling our AI agent, let's talk about the workspace itself.
Yeah.
The guide mentions workflows and credentials and executions. What's the deal with those?
Yeah, so think of the workspace as your AI agent's headquarters.
Okay.
Workflows are where you map out the steps your agent will take, like a flowchart. Credentials are like a secure vault for your API keys and access tokens,
Right.
the digital keys that grant your agent access to different services. And executions keep a record of everything your agent does, so you can track its activity and troubleshoot if needed.
Okay. I'm picturing a high-tech control center with flashing screens and maybe a robotic arm for dramatic effect.
Yeah.
But let's get back to the nodes. How do we actually start building a workflow? Where do we begin?
So the first step is to choose the right trigger node. This is what sets your AI agent into motion. It could be something as simple as receiving an email or a new file being added to a folder, or even a specific time of day.
So it's like setting an alarm clock for your AI agent, telling it when to wake up and start working.
Right, exactly.
But once it's awake, what happens next?
That's where the AI agent node steps in. This is where we connect our agent to a large language model, the engine that gives it the ability to understand and generate human-like text.
So this is where the AI magic really happens.
Exactly.
But I imagine there are different flavors of these language models, right? How do we choose the right one for our agent?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. There are a variety of models available, each with its strengths and weaknesses.
Okay.
For example, some models excel at generating creative text formats, while others are better at summarizing factual information. Choosing the right model depends on what you want your AI agent to do.
It's like picking the right tool for the job. If you need to write a poem, you wouldn't use a hammer. But once we've chosen our language model and connected it to our agent, what's next?
Well, imagine trying to have a conversation with someone who forgets everything you've just said. It'd be pretty frustrating, right?
Yeah.
The same goes for AI agents.
Oh, yeah.
To make them truly helpful, they need to be able to remember past interactions.
You're talking about giving our AI agents a memory. That sounds like we're stepping into some serious sci-fi territory here.
It might sound futuristic, but it's a crucial element of building intelligent AI agents.
Okay.
Without memory, they'd be limited to responding to each query in isolation, unable to build upon previous interactions or understand the context of a conversation.
So how do we give our AI agents this memory boost? Do we need to start building digital brains from scratch?
Thankfully, it's a lot simpler than that. In N8N, we can use the window buffer memory setting to control how much of the conversation history our agent remembers.
Okay.
It's like adjusting the size of their short-term memory.
Okay, so we can decide how far back our agent can remember. But I'm curious, how does this actually play out in practice? Can you give me an example of how memory makes a difference?
Sure. Imagine you ask your AI agent to create a shopping list. Without memory, it might just ask you for each item individually.
Right.
But with memory enabled, it can remember the items you've already added and ask clarifying questions like, do you need any more fruit? Or should I add milk to the list?
That's a great example. It's like the difference between talking to a forgetful goldfish and having a conversation with a friend who actually remembers what you've been talking about.
Exactly.
But let's not forget, AI agents aren't just about talking. We want them to be able to do things, to take action in the real world, right?
Absolutely. And that's where the concept of tools comes in.
Yep.
Tools give our AI agents the ability to interact with external systems and services, extending their reach beyond the confines of their digital world.
Okay, so we're talking about giving our AI agents superpowers.
Yeah.
But what kind of tools are we talking about here? What can they actually do?
The possibilities are vast. For instance, we can connect our AI agents to tools like Airtable,
Okay.
a powerful database platform. This allows our agents to search, update, and manage data, essentially becoming our data assistants.
That sounds incredibly useful. I can already imagine an AI agent keeping my to-do list organized and updating my project tracker, and maybe even reminding me to buy groceries.
Right?
But I'm curious, how do we actually connect these tools to our agents?
It involves setting up access tokens and permissions, which act like digital keys and security clearances, ensuring our agents can access the right information and perform the necessary actions.
So we're not just building AI agents, we're giving them access to a whole toolbox of digital gadgets.
Exactly.
But I have to ask, what happens when our AI agent gets overwhelmed? What if the tasks become too complex or the workload gets too heavy?
That's a great question, and it leads us to the fascinating world of multi-agent workflow systems.
Okay.
Imagine a single AI agent trying to handle everything: customer service, data analysis, task management. It would quickly become overwhelmed, wouldn't it?
It's like asking one person to run an entire company. They'd be burnt out in no time. So multi-agent systems are about dividing and conquering, right?
Precisely. Instead of relying on one super agent, we can create a team of specialized agents,
Yep.
each responsible for a specific set of tasks. It's like having a team of experts working together, each bringing their unique skills to the table.
I love that analogy. But I'm curious, how do these AI agents work together? Do they have team meetings and coffee breaks?
Well, they might not need coffee breaks, but they do need a way to communicate and delegate tasks.
Okay.
That's where workflow calls and dynamic workflow triggers come in.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more about how these multi-agent systems actually work.
Let's imagine you have an AI agent handling customer service emails. If a customer asks for a refund, the agent can trigger a separate refund specialist agent to take over that part of the process.
So it's like passing the baton in a relay race.
Yes,
Each agent handles their specific part of the workflow, and they seamlessly hand off tasks to each other.
exactly. And with dynamic workflow triggers, we can automate these handoffs, ensuring that tasks flow smoothly from one agent to the next. It's all about creating a well-coordinated team of AI agents working together to achieve a common goal.
Yeah, it's like building this miniature AI society.
Okay,
Each agent has its own role to play.
right,
But let's not forget that these agents aren't just about passing messages back and forth.
right.
They can actually do things.
Yeah,
We've talked about Airtable,
yep.
but the real power comes when we give them the ability to not just read the data, but to update it dynamically.
Hold on, that sounds like we're giving them the keys to the kingdom.
Right.
What's to stop them from going rogue and like messing everything up?
I've seen enough sci-fi movies to know how this could go wrong.
Well, don't worry, we're not unleashing Skynet just yet.
Okay, good.
Remember those tools we talked about?
Hmm,
It's all about carefully defining what each tool allows the agent to do.
right.
When it comes to data, we can grant like read-only access
Okay.
or very specific write permissions.
God.
Think of it like giving someone a key to your house. You wouldn't hand over the master key that unlocks everything, would you?
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, that makes sense. But I'm still a bit hazy on how this dynamic updating works in practice.
Sure.
Can you give me a real-world example?
Absolutely. Let's say you have an AI agent managing your social media content calendar.
Okay.
You've got to connect it to Airtable, where you keep all your post ideas and scheduling information.
Right.
Now imagine this agent can not only see what's planned, but can actually update the calendar based on real-time feedback.
So if a post is getting a lot of engagement, the agent could automatically bump it up in the schedule.
Exactly.
Or maybe even suggest similar content ideas based on what's resonating with the audience.
Exactly.
Wow.
And that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Oh.
Think about an agent managing your inventory. As orders come in, it automatically updates stock levels,
Okay.
maybe even triggering alerts if something is running low.
This is starting to feel less like automation and more like AI intuition. It's almost like they're anticipating needs before they even arise.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing there's a lot of careful planning involved in setting this up.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right.
This is where those dynamic AI expressions we mentioned earlier become crucial.
Okay.
We need to teach the agent how to use the information it's gathering
Right.
to make intelligent updates. It's like giving it a set of guidelines.
Got it.
If this happens,
Yeah.
then update that record in this way.
So it's a combination of giving them the tools
Yeah.
and then setting clear boundaries and
Right.
instructions on how to use those tools.
Exactly.
But I'm curious, if we're talking about agents that can learn and adapt,
Uh-huh.
how do we make sure they're learning the right things? What's to stop them from picking up bad habits
Yeah,
or making biased decisions?
that's a crucial point.
Yeah.
And it highlights why building AI agents isn't just about technical skills, but also about responsible design.
Yep.
The data we use to train these agents, the rules we set, and the way we monitor their behavior all play a role in shaping their development.
So it's not a set it and forget it kind of thing.
No.
We need to be actively involved in guiding their learning process
Yeah.
and making sure they're staying on track.
For sure.
But this brings up another question. If we're constantly tweaking and adjusting,
Uh-huh.
doesn't that defeat the purpose of automation?
Yeah.
Aren't we just adding more work to our plates?
That's where the beauty of N8N and these multi-agent systems really shines.
Okay.
Remember how we talked about breaking down complex tasks into smaller, more manageable chunks?
Right.
Well, the same principle applies to managing and monitoring our AI agents.
So instead of having one giant AI brain that we need to constantly babysit,
Yeah.
we have a team of specialized agents that are easier to train and monitor individually.
Exactly.
Okay.
And here's where it gets even more interesting.
Oh boy.
What if instead of us constantly having to make adjustments, we could have AI agents that learn from each other?
Whoa. Hold on.
Yeah.
Are you suggesting we create a whole AI school where these agents can exchange knowledge and best practices?
Well, it's not quite school,
Okay.
but the concept is similar.
All right.
Imagine an agent that's really good at scheduling appointments based on your preferences.
Okay.
Now, what if we could have another agent observe its behavior, learn from its successes and failures, and eventually become just as skilled at scheduling?
That's mind-blowing. It's like they're forming their own little AI mentorship program. But wouldn't that require some serious technical wizardry to pull off? How do we get these agents talking to each other and sharing knowledge?
This is where those workflow calls and dynamic triggers come back into play.
Okay.
We can design systems where agents not only delegate tasks, but also share data and insights with each other. Think of it like building a network of AI collaborators,
Got it.
each contributing to a shared pool of knowledge.
So we're not just building individual agents, we're building an interconnected AI ecosystem where they can learn and evolve together.
Exactly.
That's incredible. But I have to ask, where does the human element fit into all of this?
Right.
Are we just handing over the reins completely to these AI teams?
That's a question that's being debated by philosophers and technologists alike.
Yeah.
While AI agents are becoming increasingly capable,
Uh-huh.
they still rely on us to set goals, define ethical boundaries, and provide overall direction.
So it's not about replacing human intelligence,
Right.
but about augmenting it.
Exactly.
Freeing us from tedious tasks so we can focus on the things that require creativity, critical thinking,
Yeah,
and those uniquely human qualities that AI can't replicate yet.
exactly. Think of it as a partnership
Okay.
where humans and AI agents work together,
Right.
each leveraging their strengths to achieve outcomes that neither could achieve alone.
It's like a dynamic duo,
Yeah,
combining the best of both worlds.
exactly.
But I'm curious, with all this talk of AI collaboration and interconnectedness, are we talking about building something like a hive mind,
Right.
where all these agents are controlled by a central AI overlord?
That's a common misconception about AI.
Okay.
While these multi-agent systems are interconnected,
Yeah.
they don't necessarily operate under a single controlling entity. It's more like a decentralized network.
Right.
Where each agent has a certain degree of autonomy and can make decisions based on its own knowledge and objectives.
So it's not about creating a single super intelligent AI,
Right.
but about building a diverse and distributed network of intelligent agents,
Yeah.
each playing a specific role in achieving a common goal.
Exactly.
But I have to ask, with all this potential power at our fingertips, what are the ethical considerations we need to keep in mind?
That's a crucial point,
Yeah.
and one that deserves a deep dive of its own.
Okay.
As we build these increasingly sophisticated AI systems,
Yeah.
we need to be mindful of the potential impact on society,
Right.
the workforce,
Right.
and even our own sense of humanity.
You're talking about the big questions, right? Like,
Yeah.
how do we ensure these AI agents are used for good, not for harm?
Right.
How do we prevent bias from creeping into their decision-making?
Exactly.
And how do we prepare for the potential shifts in the job market as AI takes on more and more tasks?
Those are just some of the challenges we need to address as we navigate this new era of AI.
Right.
It's not just about building cool technology.
Yeah.
It's about building a future where AI empowers us, not enslaves us.
It sounds like we're standing at a crossroads where the choices we make today will have a profound impact on the world of tomorrow.
Yeah, I agree.
But before we get too deep into the philosophical weeds, let's bring it back to our practical exploration of AI agents and N8N.
Sure.
We've covered a lot of ground so far, from understanding the basics of AI agents to exploring the power of multi-agent systems. It feels like we've gone from like AI kindergarten to a full-blown AI university in just a few minutes.
Yeah.
But before we graduate with honors, I
Sure.
want to make sure we tie all this knowledge together. You've walked us through the building blocks, the
Yeah.
memory, the tools, even the concept of AI teams.
Right.
But what does this all mean
Mhm.
for someone listening who's thinking, okay, this is cool, but how can I actually use this stuff?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And the beauty is there's no single answer.
Right.
It's like asking, what can you do with a smartphone? The possibilities are as varied as the problems you're trying to solve,
Right.
and even the problems you didn't realize you had.
Okay, so instead of giving a generic answer, how about we play a little game of AI agent, make my life easier.
Okay.
Give me some real world scenarios where these agents could step in and like save the day.
All right, challenge accepted.
Okay.
Let's start with something everyone can relate to, email overload.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine an AI agent that not only filters out spam,
Okay.
but actually prioritizes your inbox based on your past behavior and current projects.
Uh-huh.
Important messages from your boss,
Yeah.
right at the top.
Okay.
Marketing emails you never open, buried in the depths where they belong.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Right.
I'm already feeling my stress levels decrease.
Yeah.
But let's step it up a notch.
Okay.
What about for someone running their own business?
No.
Maybe an online store.
Think about all the tasks that go into that. Managing inventory processing orders, handling customer inquiries, creating social media content.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a never-ending to-do list.
Right.
But with a well-designed multi-agent system, you could have an AI team handling most of the heavy lifting.
Okay.
One agent could monitor stock levels, another could process payments and generate shipping labels,
Yeah.
while a third could handle customer service chats and emails.
Wow. It's like having a whole team of virtual employees working around the clock.
Yeah,
Suddenly being a solopreneur, it doesn't seem so overwhelming.
exactly.
But let's get even more ambitious.
Okay.
How about AI agents in the world of research or creative work?
That's where it gets really exciting.
Okay.
Imagine a scientist using AI agents to analyze massive data sets, looking for patterns that humans might miss.
Right.
Or a writer collaborating with an AI agent to brainstorm ideas, overcome writer's block,
Wow.
even help with the editing process.
Hold on. Are you suggesting AI could become the next Shakespeare? I always thought creativity was a uniquely human domain.
It's true that AI can't replicate the full range of human creativity yet,
Okay.
but what it can do is augment our abilities,
Uh-huh.
provide new tools and perspectives, and help us push the boundaries of what's possible.
Okay.
Think of it as a collaboration, not a competition.
Okay. I'm starting to see the bigger picture here.
Yeah.
It's not about AI taking over.
Right.
It's about AI empowering us to do more, be more efficient,
Exactly.
and even unlock new levels of creativity.
Uh-huh.
But with all this potential,
Yeah.
we can't ignore the potential downside.
Right.
What about the impact on jobs privacy?
Yeah.
Even the potential for AI to be used for malicious purposes.
You're right. Those are all valid concerns.
Yeah.
And as with any powerful technology, it's crucial to approach AI development with a sense of responsibility and foresight.
Okay.
We need to have open conversations about ethical guidelines, data privacy, and the potential impact on society.
Yeah.
It's not just about building the technology.
Right.
It's about shaping the future we want to create with that technology.
So it's not just a technical challenge, it's a societal one.
Yeah,
And it sounds like it's going to take a lot more than just brilliant engineers to get this right.
for sure.
We're going to need ethicists, policymakers, even philosophers to help us navigate this new terrain.
Absolutely. The future of AI isn't something that's going to be decided in a lab. It's a conversation that needs to involve all of us.
Well, I think we've given our listeners plenty to think about today.
Yeah.
We've gone from the nuts and bolts of building AI agents to the potential impact on humanity itself.
It's been quite a journey.
It's been a wild ride, but I feel like I've learned a lot.
Me too.
Any final words of wisdom before we wrap things up?
The biggest takeaway I hope people get from this deep dive is that AI isn't some distant futuristic concept anymore.
Right.
It's here, it's now, and it's something we can all start learning about and experimenting with.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to dive in, explore the resources we've mentioned, and see what you can create.
That's a great call to action. And who knows, maybe one of our listeners will be the next AI pioneer building the agents that solve some of humanity's biggest challenges. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible with AI.